Top 10 Online Traps in Minecraft by Boris. Hello good people, welcome to our YouTube channel. We will look at the top 10 online traps in Minecraft. As attributed to Boris, these top 10 traps can make you the Minecraft maestro. So stay till the end and subscribe to our channel right now. Number 10. Landmines. Standard issue landmine. This landmine is ineffective and non-lethal on its own. It harms the environment while causing little or no harm to the players. It's simple to construct by placing a pressure plate on a block and one or more TNT directly beneath it. Stepping on the pressure plate will cause the TNT to explode. There are numerous variations the players can use to make it more efficient. You can protect the landscape by placing two water sources at the bottom of the hole. As sand or gravel may quench the water source, place a half slab at the bottom. However, this method reduces the amount of damage dealt. This is well hidden next to a door, and the player may believe it's to open the door. The player may fall into it if he digs a pit beneath it. Make the landmine less visible by growing tall grass around it, for example. Concrete powder cannot be used in this design because it will harden into concrete when it comes into contact with water and will quench the water source. Instant Landmine 1. When activated normally, TNT emits an audible hissing sound and waits a few seconds before exploding, giving anyone plenty of time to avoid a landmine placed on the ground. Instead, a much more dangerous landmine with instant activation can be constructed. Make a 3x3x3 hole in the ground, jump into it, and stand on a corner. Place a dirt block in the center and a rail on top of it. Place a minecart containing TNT on the rail. Take care not to overdo it. Destroy the block beneath the rail to bring the minecart to a halt. The minecart will fall one block lower, but this will not cause any damage unless you accidentally pushed it. Place a flint and steel dispenser above the minecart as shown. Surround the minecart with TNT, then cover it with a pressure plate. Skulk Proximity Jubilee is the third instant landmine. This trap is dependent on upcoming content, specifically the skulk sensor, and thus is subject to change. Because the skulk sensor has not yet been added to the schematic template, it has been marked with a melon in the schematic. This one is a little more difficult to construct. It necessitates both precise placement of TNT minecarts and extreme caution to avoid setting off the trap yourself. You'll be fine if you follow the steps in the correct order and make liberal use of the sneak key. Probably. To be sure, run it through creative mode several times. The top row contains an empty space labeled ESC. This is your way out. First, dig a hole that's 22 inches wide and 3 inches deep. Matching blocks are used to seal the top. Make a 2-block high wool wall around the hole, leaving a Steve-sized gap for your escape route. Don't fill it in just yet. Dig an escape route leading directly away from the mine in the spot where you left the gap. Go back to your wool pit. Install 2 powered rails, unpowered, along the wall opposite your escape route. You do not want the TNT carts in the way of your escape. This is where things get complicated. At least 2 TNT carts must be placed on the same powered rail. Otherwise, the trap will not work. Of course, placing the first will be simple. For subsequent carts, carefully right-click on the side hitbox of the track that the first car is on. The top will not function because the first car is in the way. If the minecart's shadow becomes noticeably darker, or if your hand empties, you'll know it worked. Once you've found the right spot, you can place as many TNT carts as you want. More carts means a bigger, more powerful explosion, and a much lower chance of escaping the blast, which isn't much of a chance to begin with. Just be careful not to collide with the carts. This is the point at which things go from tricky to deadly. You'll become the victim of your own trap if you make one wrong move. This is the point at which you hold shift as if your life depends on it, because it does. Place the skulk sensor adjacent to or in front of your escape hole while holding shift and not letting go. Now, while holding shift, sneak into your escape hole. This is where you finally close the gap in the Steve-sized wool wall hole, ensuring that the skulk sensor cannot hear you through it. You should be safe at this point, but if you want to be extra cautious, keep sneaking away from your newly planted mine. Number 9. Fake Water Pitfall. Dig a hole at least 30 blocks deep, 22 works best, the deeper the better. Place a block of lapis lazuli, a block of blue wool, or a block of blue stained glass at the bottom. Make a false corridor at the bottom to give the illusion that it leads somewhere. When an unsuspecting player comes across the hole, they may believe there's water at the bottom and jump down, killing themselves. Experienced players are less likely to fall for this particular trap, but it works quite well in general. If you're wearing frost walker boots, you can also place real water instead of blocks. Simply go down there, hide in the fake secret passage, and sneak to hide your name tag. F5 can be used to see if a player is approaching. If someone falls, move quickly to stop the water from freezing. Number 8. Snowball Pit. Connect a snowball dispenser to a pressure plate and load it with snowballs, or other knockback items. When the target walks across the plate, the dispenser, if properly aimed, fires a snowball, knocking the target into the pit. A piston can also be used in place of the dispenser. Number 7. Piston Pit. Place the piston so that it pushes the block with the signs on it. With one piston, the player can create up to 12 rows. Check that there's a block of empty space at the end of the piston's push. Connect the piston to a trigger, such as a pressure plate or lever, and when it moves, the sign should be broken, causing the sand to fall along with the target. This can also be accomplished by pushing a line of blocks with torches or buttons on them, which may be slightly less expensive. Alternatively, connect a sticky piston to a knot gate, which retracts a block with a sign on it, allowing the player to use more than 12 rows. Number 6. Elevator Sham. Make the water elevator shown in the schematic, with water only on the top block. Make the hole 30 to 40 blocks deep enough to kill the player. It might be useful to post a lure sign near the elevator that says something like, "Do not enter." You can also make the text on the signs look like a floor countdown, such as 35, 34, 33, etc., to make players more likely to fall for the trap. You can place hoppers with chests to collect the loot from the victims if they want, but if they really want the drops, they'll need the secret passage to the bottom of the pit to collect them. Number 5. Piston Trap. This trap works best in 2 tall tunnels, such as those found inside a friend's mine. Make sure there's a roof over it so the target can't escape when it hits the pressure plate. 2 pistons rise when the pressure plate is stepped on. Players will be able to easily break blocks and escape, so you should probably combine this with another trap. Number 4. Honeycomb Trap. Connect 2 sticky pistons to a clock circuit to rapidly push a honeycomb block back and forth. If done properly, a player who falls into this trap will be unable to escape. The honeycomb block was chosen because tools, even when enchanted, have no effect on breaking speed. As of 1.16, don't hose mine honeycomb faster. I could be mistaken, but someone should double check this. A block of netherite could also be used instead, because while pickaxes break it faster, it still takes so long to break that even an efficiency V netherite pickaxe cannot break it in time before it's moved. Number 3. Grave Digging. Inquire with someone if they can dig down at a specific location, possibly because you lost diamonds there. Cover them with sand or gravel when they've gotten far enough. Lava can also be used for a more dramatic death, but it will also destroy their drops and will not work if they have a source of fire resistance. This is most likely only applicable to inexperienced players. Number 2. Murder Holes. Dig a 2-foot wide trench 1 block deep on one side and 3 or more on the other. Signs should be placed on the deeper side at the same height as the shallow side. Wandering mobs will not be afraid to step on the signs. They'll become trapped if they do so. Because this does not always work, it's best to make the deeper part wider. Number 1. Trapped Ore 3. Place an observer behind the trapped ore, a dispenser behind the observer with an arrow inside facing away from the observer, and an end crystal where the dispenser is facing for a more expensive but instant explosion. Place the observer in front of the dispenser and the ore in front of the observer. Please subscribe to our channel.